Morning, guys. Well, we're in part of the garden today. I'm actually sitting, if you can believe it, I'm sitting on an old aluminium tinny boat, having a cup of tea. We're 1 week away from Christmas Day, and in this particular part of the bed, or maybe 5 days away from Christmas Day, this particular part of the bed, we've been endeavouring to grow carrots, and we've been very successful. This little bed here has been supplying us at least 5 weeks, I think, but I'm going to pull the rest out. We'll have a look at them. We'll store the carrots, and then we'll refurbish the bed ready for the next growing cycle of whatever. So we don't need much space to grow carrots. In the old size, this is 3 foot, just under a metre, by just over 4 foot, about 1.3 meters. So we've got a little bit of celery which is going to flower. I'm going to leave this here, and we might have one tomato plant, but everything else is going to come out. So I'll pass these gloves over to my better half, and I'll do some as well, and we'll put them in this tin and see what we end up with. Because I need to refurbish this bed. We're up to a kilo of carrots already, or more. It is partially shaded here at times, so anything that we get is gratefully appreciated. These ones are a little bit smaller, but they'll be nice and juicy. Got some worms wriggling around, which is always good to see. We try to remain self-sufficient in carrots all year round these days. But in saying that, we're not here all year, but we've got the carrots growing all year. So we've got a healthy bucket full at the moment. Admittedly, we've got to take the tops off. There's not too many weeds in here. We've got a bit of basil. This celery produced for 3 months, but we've cut most of it off, and we've just let the last little bit go to flower. Oh, here's another carrot, tiny one. So that's basically the bed, and now I'm going to just do a bit of refurbishing in the bed, pulling up any weeds. It's quite sandy still, even though we've put a lot of extra things into this bed, lots of compost, but it's still relatively what I'd term sandy. We'll just so I'm actually thinking that we might plant this bed perhaps with a summer crop of beans. As I said before, it's only a small area, this part of the bed, but it's been very productive. So I'm going to get some manures, and on this area I'm only going to put in a couple of bucketfuls, dig that in, and then we can think about planting. So any old kitchen knives that are sharp, I have them all over the garden bed. I find it very handy for cutting and propagating, or just to use. Actually, I'm going to put a whole bag in here. But we'll just spread that around. This is better than any artificial fertilizer, in my opinion. It's natural. It brings the worms and the microbes in. And what the worms do is they drag it down deeper into the ground. And that takes away some of that sandy soil, and we all suffer from that in this part of Australia. In fact, in a lot of parts of Australia, we all suffer from sandy soil. So there we go. Less than 5 minutes preparation, and basically I'm happy to sow in this as is. So I'll go and have a look at my seed container, and we'll have see what we can plant in here. I've changed my mind. I've decided that we're going to grow some sweet corn. This one is called Kelvedon Glory. It's an F1 variety, and it says you can plant it up till early summer. So what are we, a month into summer? So I'm going to plant these in, and about an inch deep, so I can just get 3 rows in here, and hopefully have some sweet corn by, well, before early April. We haven't had much success with corn ever, so it would be nice to change that scenario, and hopefully this variety with this top dressing will change that experience into something positive. So there we have it. I'm just going to sprinkle a little bit of blood and bone, not much, possibly about a handful. Just sprinkle it over and around. So by the time the corn pokes its head up in a few days' time or a week's time, the blood and bone will be well and truly washed in and give it a bit of a head start. Now the rest of the boat, we've got more carrots, we've got capsicum, and we've also got a few different varieties of tomato. So that's our boat fully planted out, and we have it heavily mulched as well. So this is our little garden, and it's just amazing what you can produce in such a small amount. Look at this tomato, it's just beautiful. It's thick, it's heavy, and got some nice, it might not be able to see it, but some nice little capsicums forming. And again, another bed of carrots, which will last it will last us 4 to 5 weeks. And we're talking about just a bit wider than an elbow and as long as your arm in this part of the garden. So there we have it. Happy gardening.